Howdy, folks. My name is Shannon Thompson, and I'm the mayor of Big Spring, Texas. Usually, I take to YouTube to update my citizens about our current situation with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on worldwide, and keep them up to date with what the city's doing, asking them to follow the guidelines, the health guidelines that keep people safe and healthy and prevent the spread of the virus. But today, something was handed to me that I think requires an address not just to the citizens of Big Spring, but to the citizens of the great state of Texas, because I believe this is a serious issue that everyone needs to be aware of. On the 18th of March, Governor Abbott issued a proclamation that suspended sections of the Texas Election Code to the extent necessary to allow political subdivisions that would otherwise hold elections on May 2nd, 2020, to move their general and special elections to 2020 only to the next uniform election date occurring on November 3rd, 2020, without otherwise adjusting the term of office and suspending Section 31.903 and 42.0621C of the Texas Election Code to the extent necessary to require all county election officers, if requested by an affected political subdivision, to enter into a contract to furnish election services, and so on and so forth. Basically, what that means is that the governor gave cities and other political subdivisions like school districts, college districts, whatnot, the option of postponing the May election to November. Now, on the face of it, that might be a good idea with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic and trying to maintain social distancing. I get it. But for me, the idea of canceling or postponing an election is a very tough idea to swallow, because nothing in our republic guarantees our freedoms more so than our elections and our right to vote. We call it the sacred franchise. It's that important. The city of Big Spring requires an election on the first uniform election date in May. Our city charter requires that. It's our law. And so in researching this, I found that in the charter and reached out to get legal opinions regarding that. And I felt pretty secure in the fact that we probably needed to hold our election, even though the governor gave us the option. Our charter doesn't. It's there in black and white. Article 5, Section 4 of the Big Spring City Charter calls for a May election. Done. So, again, because I am loath to move an election because of the implications for the republic, for our rights, for our future rights, and concerned about the precedent that postponing an election would take, I was taking the position that we should not move our election. Now, fast forward to the 31st of March, 2 days ago, and Governor Abbott issues Executive Order GA-14, which basically closes any non-essential business in the state of Texas per the Department of Homeland Security's list, along with, let me find it here, people shall avoid eating or drinking at bars, restaurants, and food courts, or visiting gyms, massage establishments, tattoo studios, piercing studios, or cosmetology salons. Provided, however, that the use of drive-through pickup or delivery options for food and drinks is allowed and highly encouraged throughout the limited duration of this executive order. The governor also exempted church services, which I applaud. I'm still asking our local congregations to please follow. And again, it's not an order, it's a request, but to keep their congregations and the community at large healthy, to keep following the standards that they've been using, and so hold their services online via video, and continue ministering to the congregation, but to please avoid meeting in groups. Not, again, a request, not an order from the mayor. But the governor's executive order goes on, and it says, and I'm quoting here, this executive order does not prohibit people from accessing essential services or engaging in essential daily activities, such as going to the grocery store or gas station, providing or obtaining other essential services, visiting parks, hunting or fishing, or engaging in physical activity like jogging or bicycling, so long as the necessary precautions are maintained to reduce the transmission of COVID-19 and to minimize in-person contact with people who are not in the same household. So, the governor says you can jog, you can hunt, you can fish. That those are all protected. And that's great. The problem is that as of today, at 4:22 p.m., an email came out from the director of the Elections Division at the Office of the Secretary of State. Now, bear in mind that, remember, the governor gave cities the option, not the direction to. He gave us the ability to move our May 2nd elections, or postpone our May 2nd elections, to November, to the general election in November. He gave us the option. We were allowed to, not mandated to. Now, this email comes out from the Secretary of State's Election Division today. It was sent out by Mr. Keith Ingram, who's the director of the Elections Division. And I will post copies of this email in the comments on this video. But here's a quote in the first paragraph. If you don't move your May 2nd election, you are subjecting voters to health risks and potential criminal violations. I'm going to read that again. You are subjecting voters to health risks and potential criminal violations. So, taking that with the governor's executive order, here's what Mr. Ingram is saying, and the governor together are saying. You can go to the grocery store, gas station, obtaining other essential services. You can go to the park, you go hunting, you can go fishing. But if you vote, you're facing a potential criminal violation. You can be arrested if you vote in the May 2nd election. It's not the governor saying that. It's an unelected bureaucrat running a division at the Texas Secretary of State's office. He goes on in the next paragraph. The governor's executive order makes it clear that you must take action to move your election. Well, I'm sorry. I've read the governor's executive order front to back a dozen times, and nowhere does the governor specifically say, you must move your May election. Mr. Ingram's words. Folks, this is scary. You can go to Walmart, but if you go vote, you could be arrested. Here's my question. Is this strictly Mr. Ingram's opinion? Or is this the Attorney General's opinion? Or is this Governor Greg Abbott's opinion? Our elections are our sacred franchise. There's a quote from Thomas Jefferson that I love to refer back to. A share in the sovereignty of the state, which is exercised by the citizens at large in voting at elections, is one of the most important rights of the subject, and in a republic ought to stand foremost in the estimation of the law. Now, if you are a city like Big Spring that is considering moving its election, I suggest you reach out to Governor Abbott and ask him if this is his executive order. Folks, this order, and that's what it amounts to, this order from the Secretary of State's office is dangerous. It is tantamount to the state controlling whether you vote or not. Here in the city of Big Spring, citizens elected representatives. We have 6 council members and a mayor. And while we seldom agree, we all have a sacred duty to our citizens to uphold the law. We take an oath to that effect. Now, again, I don't see where Mr. Ingram came up with that language from the governor's executive order. Greg Abbott certainly didn't say that you must move your elections. On the 18th of March, he said you can postpone your election. He didn't say you have to. He said, but you can. So, another thing that I refer to a lot is Article 1, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution and Article 1, Section 2. Article 1, Section 1, freedom and sovereignty of the state. Texas is a free and independent state subject only to the Constitution of the United States and the maintenance of our free institutions and the perpetuity of the Union depend on the preservation of the right of local self-government, unimpaired to all the states. Section 2. Inherent political power, Republican form of government. All political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. The faith of the people of Texas stands pledged to the preservation of a Republican form of government, and, subject to this limitation only, they have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish their government in such manner as they may think expedient. Now, what does that mean? Article 1, Section 1 means that this government is in place for the citizens' benefit. And Article 2 says that all power in this state resides with citizens, and the faith of the people of Texas stands pledged to the preservation of a Republican form of government. In other words, a representative republic is what we were promised. That's the contract. And to have a representative republic, you must have free elections. You're subjecting voters to health risks and potential criminal violations. Mr. Ingram, are you going to come to Big Spring, Texas and arrest my voters? I would love to see you try. My name is Shannon Thompson. I'm the mayor of Big Spring, Texas. If I sound mad, I am. If I sound like I'm ready for a fight, I am. We don't tolerate being ordered around out here. And we sure don't tolerate it from unelected bureaucrats. But that's Texas. Climbing down off my soapbox now. Hope you all have a great evening. Take care. God bless. God bless Texas.